only 5 of us left that carry the last name. That carry my last name.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we dying. We're dying off, man. And we're becoming very extinct. I have two older brother. No, I had two older sisters and one older brother, and I didn't meet them until my father's funeral for the first time.
Oh damn.
Yeah, and
I'm gonna
two
go
of
ahead.
them carried the
I'm gonna go
last
ahead and go
name
live.
for myself.
Just follow my lead. We're bringing it nice and smooth.
All right, cool.
Yeah. Get your headphones on. Go ahead, Keon. Go and do your thing.
All right, ready to do this, fam.
Yeah. How's the drive over here, man?
Man, it was pretty relaxing. I like it, man.
Yeah.
The back roads and everything, it reminds me of back home. You know, it's something that'll clear your head. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's the woods, man.
Yeah, man, we ain't far from each other, actually, man. We probably like about maybe like a 10-mile radius.
That's crazy, dude.
I've been up here for almost a decade.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I started working with Will too. It was not only is he a good dude, but it's also just, I mean, it's right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly, man. And like I said, man, it was almost like grace, man. You know, something in the universe and stuff, man, that's intertwined this and stuff. Where right off the gate, I just called.
Right.
He was the first one that I saw out of studios when I was looking for and stuff, and I was like, quality touch, and the word quality was the key that caught me. I was like, all right, let's see if someone actually cares about what they do, and he blew my mind, man, when I met him, man.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. Not to mention, he was also the first one that picked up. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's also big right there.
See, man, there's a reason for everything, man. Hey, look, I ain't tripping, man. That everything happens in accordance, man, for a reason. Whether you, no matter what walk of life you come from or what you believe in, stuff like that, fate is fate, and
right.
especially when you gotta focus, something that you put a lot of time and energy and dedication into, something heard your heart, bro.
Yeah, and it was a great conversation. Like when you called me the other day, I was like, this guy could be all right. It's a cool dude right here. And Will told me about you too as well. I was like, yeah. He's like, you gotta get this man on the podcast, man. Hell of a story, great talent. Yeah, bring him on there. I was like, hey, say no more.
Hey, man, I'm right here, man. Big shout out to Quality Touch, WPGC, Deja Vu, Grantsville, Bearman Jones. Man, it's just so much of a plethora of people. Jay Anthony, all the way, and these are my people from ATL.
Yeah, you going through the whole Rolodex.
Man, David Metropolis. Hey, man, it's going down in Arizona right now and stuff, but we're gonna bring it to the east side all the way through and through, man. And thank you so much, Ricky, for having me, man.
Hey, absolutely. Titanlaw, man. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, good to have you on. So I gotta ask, first and foremost, people are gonna ask before they get in the comment box and all this other shit. The mask. Do you want to talk about it a little bit?
All right. So my career before I started getting back into my music, it consists of me having to actually. I did fugitive recovery for a few years, but at the same time, I wanted to make sure that I had a brand that stood out different from everybody else.
Right.
Where my whole goal, it's a part of my whole goal where it's like, it doesn't matter what I look like. I just want people to hear what I have to say.
Okay.
And I'm a low key kind of guy, so that's part of my MO is I'm low key, but at the same time, in order for me to resonate the way that I want to, I have to do it with my mask on, because of the fact that it's the goal is to get the people to hear. I'm not the best looking guy or anything like that, or it's not like I got some type of like this mutation or something like that going on or anything like that. It was just something that drew me when I was doing this type of work over the years, where I'm like, okay, cool, because I would talk to people and encourage them wearing the same mask while I went to go get them, to make sure that that they leveled themselves out and after realizing what they did.
Right.
And that's why I kept it, out of respect for my craft and my career.
Okay. I like it, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the mask. Yeah, I think it was pretty cool.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah.
Man.
Do you walk out in public with it too as well?
No, actually, I'm a plain sight kind of guy. So it's almost like I figured that if I was to to wear my mask, I would rather do it for the income of entertaining people. But at the same time, if I was to blow, I'll be able to walk around in plain sight without having to worry about anybody, like, you know what I'm saying, interfering or, you know, cutting me off, or, you know, and it's not like I don't want the love from the people,
Right.
but you know that's not how I operate, because like I said, I came from behind the shadows watching, you know, keeping up with current events and everything, and for a long time used to just watching, observing and reporting. So I figured that might as well keep that MO and stuff, hear for the people to hear my music, but not to worry about what I look like. Just pay attention to what I'm saying.
You know what? That's actually a really interesting concept, because, you know, a lot of people, they get caught up in, you know, what they wearing, what you look like, you know, this, that, and the third, what you driving. But with the mask right there, it's just that all you could do is focus on exactly what I'm saying. There's nothing else. There's literally nothing else. Now, if you wore like a lab coat too as well, then you know that really shuts shit down. All I can really just hear is your words.
Well, you know, and that's the thing though. I do. I actually, my style is off of the theme of Japanese style and clothing and urban wear. You know, and that's one way that I knew that I could stand out, because of the fact that it's looking outside of the box. I was always the type of person to look outside of the box, even when it came to wardrobe, or, you know, even in representation, just so I can make sure that I stood out differently. And apparently it's resonating, and I appreciate that, you know.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it's gimmicky, but it does definitely attract attention. Yeah. And we talk offcast, so I got a little more of it too as well. I support it, man.
Hey, thank you.
Do you have different color masks, or is just one?
Yeah, I got a whole plethora of them. You know, for color code, dress code. You know, you see, I got my business casual going down and stuff like that. But you know, I had to make sure that I had something to go with the apparel, with my mask and everything. And that's the theme that I wanted to be able to resonate, where I wanted people to ask, why do you wear the mask? So that means I can generate people to asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
It's just all about a matter of time of being able to ask the right questions. What I'm going to do is, if I get to a certain point with what I'm doing with my music,
right,
I will have no problem having it come off. But at the same time, I want to make sure that the people hear what I have to say, then worry more about what I look like.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that's already a part of the norm of the image when it comes to music or modeling or branding yourself or things like that. I wanted to be the first to look outside of the box with that.
Yeah, it's I mean, you got a lot of artists that wore masks. MF Doom.
Yep.
Daft Punk.
Yep. ICP.
Yeah. There you go. Yep. Exactly.
Yep.
What was it? Some cat in the Wu-Tang Clan that wore a mask too.
Let's see.
It had to be somebody. It's like 300 of them. One of them had to don a mask at some point.
Well, you know, I'll remember that there was a video where everybody was wearing a mask. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the era that I come from when it came to hip hop, when it came to music, where, you know, it's like, all right, that's cool. You know, you don't have to worry about what they look like and stuff. You saw that it was an effect. You noticed that was something that was different. You know, at the same time, your ears were open.
Yeah.
That's all that really mattered.
That's dope, dude. Hey, before we actually really get, I got a whole bunch of, you said a bunch of stuff right there. I got to get into it. But I'm going to give a shout out. Keon, put on that full screen for us real quick. Yeah, go head back to OBS. We're going to bring this up real quick, real fast. Absolutely. I got something for you. Hey, that man right there just turned 18 today.
Hey, happy birthday, man. That's what's up, man. Yeah.
That's right, 18th birthday.
All right, bro.
Hey, Ken, you got any words for the people?
Don't act like a ass.
Don't act like an ass. All right. Hey, wise words from a decent man.
Hey, makes plenty of sense to me, and so that's why I know you gonna have a great future, bro. I swear for.
Hey, Kia, get that quality control box out of there. Yeah, we good to go. All right, Titanlaw. So I looked your name up the other day after you called me. I was like, all right, Titanlaw, and the first thing that popped up was a law firm. I'm like, is this man representing a law firm out here at the same time? So, but I realized that wasn't. So where exactly does your name come from?
Well, you know, I was looking at I used to watch this series, this animation series called Attack on Titan.
Ooh.
And where
show.
it's about these giants, and it's about this group that actually controls giants or abstracities that's going on in their world.
Right.
As far as what they would call the Titans, and they demanded respect. At the same time, they had a purpose outside of the people that were hunting them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it came from, where I wanted to be a giant. And where it came from, where I brought in law, was because I was a criminal justice major back in 2010. I ended up studying the law, after years of experience of trouble and a couple times of incarceration and trying to be a part of the system.
Mm-hmm.
And so because I generated, or I resonated my life with trying to go by the book of the law and understanding it, because I understood it, is why I created Titanlaw, a giant that's able to annotate the law. And even at the point where the giants in Attack on Titan had their own set of rules with how they evolve or how they came to be.
Right.
And that's all I'm doing. It's like I'm setting my own rules to the music game. So it's my own accordance and laws of what I say and what I'm trying to represent. But at the same time, I got to keep it real,
Dang, that's crazy, dude. Because a lot of people, some names, it's just dumb, stupid shit like Lil something or Big whatever.
Yeah.
But that right there is and I disrespect that. Everybody got a name for a reason, but I like to see an artist that has actually put a lot of thought, every step of the way. And so going to the next step, how would you explain your music style? Because you told me already that's a little bit different out there. I'm telling you right now, when I first heard it, I was like, this man's like the DMV's DMX.
That's not the first time I heard that. I'm a Gen 10. I'm a Generation X.
Okay.
And I just turned 39 New Year's Eve, so
hey, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, man. I'm thankful I got a chance.
Are you born on New Year's Eve?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah,
what a way to
man.
bring in the new year.
Hey, man.
It's a hell of a day to have a birthday.
Hey, you know what? And for many years and stuff, I said the same thing. But in my career before I actually got into the music game, I always was required to work on holidays and on my birthday.
Right.
So the coolest aspect that I had with that was, well, at least everybody else get to turn up on my behalf if I can't do it myself, And I wrote off of that for decades, for trying to justify, having that obligation where I couldn't relax myself on my birthday for as long as I have. This is actually the third time that I actually got a chance to do what I wanted to on my birthday after 23 years.
Damn.
Yeah, man. Being a workaholic and trying to prove yourself comes at a price.
Why? What makes you try so hard? Well, who are you trying to prove yourself to?
I'm trying to prove myself to the world and to Uncle Sam.
Why Uncle Sam?
I'm a veteran.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
I had some abstracities going on, that involved me being internally ill and not knowing it at the time, and trying to get people to understand and crying out for help. I didn't get a chance to be in depth with what's wrong with me, but I knew something was wrong.
Right.
And so, I found out that I was diagnosed with juvenile diabetes in 2010, but juvenile diabetes is something that you're born with, and apparently the military didn't see it.
Okay.
But I was relying on them to do so.
Yeah, I mean, so you go to
So,
MEPS and the whole process
yeah,
for draw blood, all that test,
all
physicals.
of that,
yeah.
And I really depended on them because I came from a low income family,
Yeah.
And we didn't have the extravagant doctors or anything like that to really take a closer look, let alone being young and black during those times.
Yeah.
It's not surprising and stuff that you bypassed. So what I did with Uncle Sam was, after the transition that happened to me, when they didn't know that this disease was affecting my mind and even my performance, I took their word for it for a long time, and so that's why I'm the way that I am today.
What do you mean by that? The way you are today? It can't come about.
Well, when it comes to trying to get people to understand, or having more of a drive to be willing to be heard,
Mm-hmm.
when at a time I didn't think that nobody was paying attention. I wanted to make sure that what I wanted to put across was something that will gravitate to people, whether it's going to grab their attention, whether I say something to them or not. And it was just years of trauma and hurt, disappointment, unanswered questions, near death on so many levels and so many times. That's what helped me become who I am, because of the fact that it took those hurts and those joys in order for me to resonate on what I focused on since I was 11 years old, and that was writing, and it was poetry. It all resonates for a reason, but I'm still trying to find some answers for those reasons. But at the same time, I move forward as I am, accepting the fact that I'm in a position I ain't guaranteed tomorrow.
And nobody is.
Nobody is, exactly, and that's how I see it. That still gives me the drive. But I really spent most of my years trying to prove myself that I was capable, even though I didn't even know I was sick until 2010. That's how that goes when it comes to that.
Right.
Being who I am, how it all evolved. It evolved out of anger, disappointment, lies, deception, finances, all of it. Facing poverty, being on the streets, watching people struggling on the streets, trying to lift them up when you're hurting inside all the time. That's Titanlaw.
How has writing helped Titanlaw out through all this time?
It caused me to be able to engage my thinking. It allowed me to stay focused when I thought that I was losing myself.
Mm-hmm.
It was something that I could always focus on, because I used to sit in my room for hours and hours staring at the walls, listening to like Master P, Scarface, and Bone Thugs, to the point where I'm like, these variations are different. Let me have a focus, because I love music so much. Let me have a focus on this differentiation. So what I ended up doing was, I was writing my poetries based off of the beats, and they ain't have no instrumentals back then and stuff. So it was off the album. So literally, I had to focus on blocking out what they were saying, and listening to the beat, but actually putting my own words to it to see how far I can go with the limitation with trying to infuse my poetry to a similar format, to see if I can do it with a beat. And ever since then, man, that's what helped keep me intact. It's I guess with that type of trauma that I was going through at that time, having issues at home, always trying to run away, trying to get out of the small town that I grew up in,
right.
From the hatefulness and even some of my own people trying to pull me down. I had to find some type of outlet, and the only outlet that I had was writing, because of the fact that at the time people didn't listen. Nobody heard what I had to say. Nobody really paid attention to how I was saying things, or how I saw my perception of things, because I was always the type to look outside the box to ask abstract questions, and all of my friends and my peeps back at home always knew me to do so. And that's part of the reason why I'm all the way here in Maryland, coming from a small town called Hillsborough, North Carolina, because of the fact that I knew how to start engaging, asking the right questions through my writing, because of the fact of it gave me more resonance of authenticity.
Talk to me about your time in North Carolina, and how that made you how you are today. I want to hear this.
Man,
absolutely.
Well, we in the times that's really pointing out what it is when it comes to people and their physical attributes. And a town like Hillsborough, it's a quaint small area, but at the same time, hatred, you can feel it and see it in the air.
Right.
And and it was that type of environment where no matter how good you are in whatever it is or how educated you are, the color of your skin always still mattered when it came to trying to find a better opportunity or trying to be at a higher standpoint.
A city stuck in the past.
Basically. And it still seems that way now. It's just that it's more urban of the same type of rhetoric that calls us to be as angry as we are to speak up the way that we do.
Right.
But that's one thing that I created a strength, and that's what made me also good at being able to whoop ass for a living too. Because I'm telling you, man, you got them people and stuff like that, like, hey boy, and then the nigga, and then they're just screaming and stuff like that. You had a Burger King, and I was the type of person where I was like, hold up now I'm not gonna run when you disrespected me in front of my face and stuff when I ain't even say nothing to you at all.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just here to get to number one.
Yeah, so
maybe Whopper Jr.
Hey, and it was that type of town and stuff where if you have that level of hatred and stuff like that, you got plenty of practice and stuff like that of being able to shed blood, of your own. Or you have to do it for the cause of standing up for yourself when you didn't even realize that you were also standing up for your people too.
Right.
So that's the kind of environment that I grew up in, and it still has those issues today. But the whole time since I was a kid, I've been trying to get up out of there because I always saw this. I've been noticing this stuff when I was a kid, and I don't know. I guess being wise is based off of experience, and most
There's somebody for you on the screen.
Who that?
Robert Streeter, baby.
Hey, what's going on, man? Yo, mad love to that man right there. Yeah, he knows what I'm talking about when it comes to that type of level of what it took for us to evolve, to be able to look outside of the box when you had a society, a mass majority of a populace that try to keep you in a box. I love this man to death right here. As a matter of fact, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have been able to learn how to whoop ass like I do and stuff, because he does the cage fighting and all
talk
that,
about that, man.
arts.
You said what's up with this cage fighting?
Yeah, man. Hey, look,
what's up
man,
with this training? See what you got.
All right, so I grew up in martial arts, man. I started off learning karate, and I got into that for a little while, but not as dedicated as people like Robert. He's been in it since he was 4 years old.
Yeah, my kids they've been doing karate since about 3 or 4 themselves.
See,
and
that's where
absolutely.
That discipline and stuff never leaves, man. It is very effective. Where you got to be able to learn how to defend yourself and your home, and at the same time, it was a good emphasis of learning discipline. So when it came to me with martial arts, because I like to look outside the box, I was like, okay, I learned this one right here, but what about this one over here? And growing up as a kid, we used to watch martial arts movies all the time. Consistently, from Jackie Chan, Bruce, and Sammo Hung,
Rush Hour.
Yeah, man, but we talking about like the 70s type of karate.
Oh yeah,
flicks
that's when that real shit was popping.
Yeah, the
absolutely.
sound effects and stuff. You got people doing triple flips over, and this is the things that I wanted to learn to do. But we knew that it was impossible. But the discipline of it, and making sure that I could protect my mom, because she raised my brother and I on her own the majority of our life, and we wanted to make sure that she was safe. So we had to come up with an incentive of our own. And my brother put me on the martial arts, and I kind of wanted to variate because I like to be versatile,
right,
on a universal scale. So I started off with taking karate, then I ended up doing about 2 years of capoeira.
What is that?
Capoeira is an art of defense where it's in the format of dance, in which they call it Jenga. But it's rhythmic movement of defense, but also it's very effective in offense as well. But it's more of a variation of dance or learning rhythm, being able to have control while you're being able to move, throwing people off on them anticipating your next move. And that's the whole point of capoeira. That's why even with the movement with Jenga, that's because either way with that type of movement, you don't know if you're going to come with a hand or you don't know if you're going to come with a foot. Keep people guessing.
Yeah, keep them off guard.
Yeah, man.
Know the left know what the right doing.
Exactly. Yeah. And from that point on, I left from capoeira and I ended up taking Muay Thai, kickboxing. I did that for 2 years. Once my shins and stuff like that started getting the splints. Hey, you know about them splints, man. I'm telling you, hell standing up, and how those feel. I had to let that go, all the way to the point where it led me to learning Kung Fu. Right now, I currently study Wing Chun Kung Fu, and my Sifu is very understanding, very calm, and very peaceful. That's the kind of people I evolve myself around, so I can be able to make sure that I can keep myself intact,
right,
based off of what I've been going through in my life.
Do you still take lessons? You teach or?
Oh no, I don't teach, but Sifu calls me one of his tigers. I learn along with him, and see, we learn together. Where there's no like level of it or anything like that. It's men, women, and children learning together, and we teach each other. So that way we can engage with learning how to deal with people at the same time. You're learning to teach while you're learning the art.
So hold a second. So you love hip hop, martial arts. Man, you ain't sure you part of Wu-Tang yourself?
Hey,
got the mask on and everything.
Hey, big shout out to Wu-Tang because I love them guys to death. You can't get no more realer than all aspects of hearing lyricists spit the way that they do about what's going on, what's at hand, and still make it seem like it's fire comparison to everybody that's feed pipe dreams talking about, fast cars, money, and calling women out of their names all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, what do you think about that style of hip-hop? How do you feel about it? Do you listen to it? Do you engage in it?
You know what?
Do you have songs about that?
You know what?
It's that curiosity.
I do listen to it, and I respect artists. I look at artists as being more like warriors and saints. The warrior aspect of an artist is that when you going through trying to get yourself put on, you have to fight and work and network yourself to being able to get to the point of your goal, and that's to be able to put your music out. And sometimes you're gonna have people and stuff that's gonna give you opposition, and you gotta find a strategy to be able to reach that goal. Now the saint aspect of it is where you got artists that stay so consistent and so persistent, no matter how many times they got knocked down, they got back up.
Right.
They still kept pushing themselves until they got the answer that they looked at, that they were looking for. And so, that's how I look at it when it comes to artists. But at the same time, their style is their style. Everybody is entitled to what they feel, what they would want to say, because that serves the whole point of why this is a free country the way that it is.
Right.
And I'm not mad at that at all. If anything, it's stuff, I like to spit on their level too, if it came down to it. But at the same time, that's not my focus. But I like to be versatile. I understand, because just like the rest of the populace, they understand where you're coming from when it comes to what you're in reference to. But at the same time, I do have a soft spot for the kids and the future, our future innovators, and how their perception of these things are, and how they will interpret what's been said on the radio. And that's how I feel about that when it comes to artists and today's music, where because hip hop, it's going on 60 years.
Has it been 60? Well,
man,
probably started about the 70s.
Yeah, so Africa Bambaataa, all the way from that time and stuff.
50.
Yeah, so I'm like, we are at a point and stuff where hip hop had evolved. It didn't die. It just evolved into something else. But the thing is that the cool thing about it is that people my age and even older can still do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and just like my man Will was speaking on before and stuff. It doesn't matter how
But the age thing,
the age.
yeah.
You know, it's all about what you're thinking and how you get it to resonate to the people. And it is a universal ordeal, no matter what format of hip hop that you're into. It's a universal thing. Music is music. Music originally came from God. So you know, if whether you're thinking about it being rugged or anything, it's all for salvation and grace and trying to get people to understand where you coming from.
What do you want people to get from you when you put your music out? What's the if there's one thing? I know this is very making the question a little bit more unlayered than what it is, but now fuck it, we can go into it.
Right,
What do people? Yeah, what do people want to? What do you want people to get from your music?
I want people to understand that I come from both sides of the aisle. From struggling on the streets, from finding a way out of the other streets, to being thrown back to the streets, to being able to find my way back into a purpose.
Mm.
And my music is based off of all of those criteria. I have songs for every type of criteria per people, and I have that for a reason because of the fact that, you know, when it comes to me, my whole goal was to be heard. You know, from being disregarded for such a long time. You know, from being in the service all the way to being at home, you know, talking to people, you know, I wasn't sure if they were on the same page of understanding where I was coming from. But what I wanted to do with my music was let people know that there's two sides of the aisle and there's a neutral. And I want to be the first that's on the neutral side from both sides of the aisle when it comes to music, because of the fact that I love it that much.
Absolutely. I love that answer. I was looking up at the screen too. Then you got a boy Will right there. Agreed with you 100%.
Hey, there he is right there. Quality touch all the way, man. Hey, look. Hey, this man is a guru, man. If anything and stuff, man, this man is a godsend when it comes to it, man. Because, you know, if it wasn't for his guidance and him having a humble spirit like he is with, you know, shooting things straight to the hip.
Yeah.
You know, just being straight up with folk. That's all it really takes and stuff, you know, to actually get people to follow your lead, is to let them know that you know what you're talking about, and you're gonna be, and no matter how it proceed, there's no sugarcoating it. This is how it's got to be done in order for you to be able to get the result. And I really appreciate that, man. I call him my Yoda of hip hop.
Hey, I'm gonna start using that on myself every time I talk to Will.
Yeah, he's awesome, man. This is the type of people that I always try to gravitate myself around, down to earth people and stuff.
Yeah.
That should be just straight up with you, you know.
Did you see his video behind the scenes at 95.5 the other day?
Yeah, I saw. I got a chance to catch it a little bit. See, I'm still waiting for him to send me the other links, and you know, so I could be able to play catch up. But man, we under the same umbrella, you know, because you know I've been dealing with WPGC for almost 10 years.
Yeah, talk to me about it.
Man, I started off with one label, TNT, and it just didn't go the way that I needed it to when it came to what I was trying to do with my music and how I was trying to variate the differentiation of my style. And you know, one thing led to another for me to be able to be like, hey, I can't, you know, where I had to believe in myself. It took me having to really sit and think to verify that, are they going in the same direction as I am, and with even my perception of how I see music, you know, because I really my goal wasn't to, you know, be pompous and all that type of stuff to try to draw money or that type of ordeal. No, my whole goal was to be heard, and at the same time be able to speak my feelings when I was hurting inside all the time. And that's really where it came from. And I had to distance myself because of the fact that we weren't on the same page with that. And I give my respect to TNT and everything, and them still grinding it out because we're on the same page when it comes to trying to get ourselves out there. But at the same time, it's like I've been focused on what I've been concepting on my music since I was 12 years old, and I never let go of that, no matter everything else that I had to do in life before I was able to finally put myself out there like that.
So you were signed to a label before?
I wasn't signed. No. See, and that was another thing and stuff. See, and that's the one thing that I was proud of Will and stuff when he was talking about it, quality touch and stuff.
Yeah.
Yep, paperwork, royalties, all that type of stuff. Nah, man, we was just winging it and stuff most of the time. Where well, me personally, it felt like I was winging it. So, cause it's like when I start, if I ask, I like to ask questions outside the box in which they make sense. But if I'm not getting the answers that I'm looking for, then I'll stop asking. But then I'll fade away. And so, so we didn't work out any type of a deal. We was on the verge of doing so, but at the same time, we had to worry about getting the bills paid and stuff. So we had to prioritize ourselves with work. Because we were starting from the bottom then, and that's why I was like, I can't knock them for it because of the fact that we were on the same page when it came to what we were trying to do, but we just weren't on the same page on the aspects of being able to deliver it to the people to be heard, and that was our only difference.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. Because Joe Budden, he said the same thing about his time when he was at Slaughterhouse. Like, he asked questions, the right questions weren't being answered as far as the money. So he just kind of like retired. Yeah. You see him now just running his podcast. So, yeah, I completely understand that right there. Like, you feel like you ain't being heard. You're just like, man, fuck it, I'm out of here.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I had to, man. Because I have so many songs. I have a plethora of music coming.
Tell me how many songs you got memorized. You told me before the podcast, but why don't you say it for the people?
Altogether, I have 42. 5 of them I'm probably going to have to go back and revise, but 42 I've written.
That you have completely memorized.
Yeah, man. I haven't been in the studio with a piece of paper yet, and I don't.
You want this one?
Oh no, man! It's, unless I'm going to be writing down some notations and stuff like that on consultation that Will got for me. Hey, that's the only right now. Look, I'm writing and having to record and stuff like that, and sit there making sure that I got eye contact, even if I can read this man's lips, because that's the important part of it. You got to understand the business.
The business is
it.
Yeah. And you know what? Not to cut you off, but that's the thing is, as artists, myself, podcast, doing the music. Yeah, we want to focus on the art so much.
That's right.
But the thing is that your art could be stolen from you. It could be twisted in ways that you don't even know what's going on.
That's right.
And if your business paperwork ain't right, then you're all sorts of fucked.
Exactly.
Tax season coming up. I'm ready to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Because the first thing I realized that you have to do and stuff like that, fill out them W-9s, folks. There ain't no getting around that shit. Hey, look, no matter how hard you try, you know what I'm saying? Look, we can't sell shit out of the back of the trunk no more. That's not how it works. They keep tabs on damn near everything now as long as internet exists. So you got to put in that paperwork and stuff because they got that shit in digital too. So that's the key part, business before pleasure, and the art is the pleasure. Being behind the mic is what causes you to be able to speak your mind and everything. But business is always first. You can't have pleasure without taking care of business.
Absolutely, that's a beautiful quote. We'll cut that out, put in a 1 minute clip. Let the world see that one.
Hey, bro. Yeah. Hey, all to it and stuff like that, man. Hey, I guess the apple don't fall far from the tree from having a father that was a bishop, man.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, tell me about that. I had something else, but yeah, tell me about pops.
Man, my father, he played the guitar for I think it was like 42 years, and he was a bishop. I think he ran a church. I think it was in Philadelphia, to my understanding. And the one thing he always told me was, he was like, son, he was like, everything I see with you right now and stuff, I can tell you. And so he looked at my facial expressions and everything. He told me it was almost like looking in a mirror, man. It was intense, where me trying to figure myself out, I ain't even have to ask no questions to him.
Yeah.
About why I am. He explained it all to me and of course, I think it was all God, man, telling him this to relay this to me, where he's been through all kinds of things, from the drugs and incarceration and backsliding to giving his life to God to dealing with his illness too, because he suffered from diabetes, and that's where that's one of the things I've inherited from him, as well as the majority of the looks.
Hey, he says like in the mirror.
They can't see me right now and stuff like that, but my father, I could tell, he told me that he was a very elaborate speaker, and that's what kind of gives me the understanding how I communicate with people, where they have to ask me twice where I'm from, unless I like really kick back and relax like I'm chilling with y'all, and then that's when the y'all and hey,
that North Carolina pop out.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? The country boy.
And that's don't forget the barbecue.
Hey man, hey look, I just got me a new grill with that, man. So that's a part of it. As a matter of fact, where I live at now, I moved in the Woodlawn specifically to try to remind myself of where I came from. That's
get back to your roots.
Never forgot. Exactly.
Yeah.
No matter where you go, you never forget that. And I was thankful for my father, even though it was a short time that I got a chance to spend with him, that I was able to get more understanding and clarity. But the most important was I was able to tell him that I forgave him a long time ago, because of the fact that, we all go through things in life, and it's always according to God to deter when it's your time to be able to roll things over, and I got a chance to do that before he went home. And
rest in peace.
Thank you. And I know he's better now than he was when he was here with us.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand more where the music savvy come from. See, my mom could sing too, but my mom was more the dancer. We got that in the family too. That's what we used to do in the club.
I mean, you was dancing martial arts as well too. So.
Hey man, all of it ties together. All of it is for that universal purpose, where for entertaining people, or selflessness. And that's where I really think where entertaining comes from, where even my brother and stuff, he smooth dancing and everything, and part of his martial arts was for it, but it gathered much respect from the people. And that's what I'm doing with my music, because my father, he ended up becoming a bishop for being able to speak to people and knowing what to say to them to make them feel better about where they stand, and going through the traumas and everything to confirm that, hey man, I know what you're going through, this is how I'm going about doing so. I'm preaching about Jesus Christ. Me, and I'm kind of like I got clarity of trying to reiterate myself and being in that type of mode, but my walk is for the people, period. And all criteria don't all believe in the same thing,
right?
But at the same time, we all believe in the same cause and reason why we exist. So that's what I want to do with my music, where I want to vary. I want to reach out to people and stuff like that. That goes to church, because I got songs for that too. I got lyrics for. You
got some gospel
lyrics.
songs.
Man, oh my God. I got it from all criteria. I even sing. I got songs coming out that's based off of every single criteria of people out there, different mentalities, just to let them know that I understand.
Right.
All I just ask is for the people's ears, so they can at least understand where I'm coming from, because my walk of life is different than the average person. My credentials also explain it also, but at the same time, out of all of that training and all the blood, sweat, and tears that I've shed over the years, I wound it up right back behind the microphone, being able to go back to writing how I felt, or things that I've experienced, or things that I've seen good people experience and they found their way out of, or I've seen things that people and stuff that put themselves down into a barrel and scraping themselves out, trying to scrape themselves out. And that's how versatile I like to be, to reach out to everybody that's hurting, because I already know what it's like having nothing, starting from rock bottom. I know what it's like sleeping homeless on the streets.
Mm-hmm.
I know what it's like saving a life. I know what it's like being able to consult with somebody, because you never know what you would say to somebody that can turn their life around for the greater good or for the detriment of the worse. All by what you say. But you got to, in order for you to be a people person, you got to be versatile. You got to understand different personalities and different walks, because everybody is not on the same page when it comes to the different walk. We just all on the same page with living life. And that's where I come from, and that's how my music resonates. I have it all I can spit the alternative too, and not even just spit. I sing with it too. I come up with a melody and everything, just to let people know that versatility is I don't lie just only in hip hop. It's all about music, period.
Do you play instruments?
I tried the trumpet. I think that was like 6th grade. I tried the trumpet. Let's see. I tried playing the flute for those like shits and giggles type
Yeah,
of
record all that shit.
Yeah, but my brother was really, really good at the drums. I tried that one time and stuff, but my rhythm and stuff like that is going off of their rhythm. That's how I get my rhythm off of them going with me on a simultaneous note and stuff. It was kind of like too abstract.
I think somebody wants you to spit some bars.
Oh, who that? Oh, is that? Oh, okay. Hey. All right, so you know what? Since we were talking about my father and where he came from, and because I'm a God-fearing man, but I still walk my path the way in accordance until my salvation is met.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and spit something I wrote when I was 15 years old.
Do you think, man? Floor yours.
Have faith in the Father, establishing action and battling every day for satisfaction now. Growing up in the world to try to gather my nerve. The frustration is not relating, I know it's Satan. I look back and it's not the same, so reason for having shame. So reason for taking the blame, it's time for change. In the one word of his prophecy, God gave me property, give me glory, that is no stopping me. The devil's defeated, true believers better believe it. Is that the reason for the words that I'm speaking to preaching? God ordained my footsteps from beginning to end. Now he's my love and my friend until the bitter end. Realizing, emphasizing what God's done for taking my burdens away. So now I'm soaring free. Now the battle is won. He gave his begotten son till I get to heaven, and that's my destiny. Is that enough? Do I need to go back? Do I need some more? You want some more? You want some more?
Hey, you wrote that when you was 15?
I was 15 years old when I wrote that.
Damn.
Years old.
You got a great voice too.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of years and years of practice and stress.
Yeah. Now, hey, honestly though, what kind of beats you using, man?
Man, I go to my man Jay Anthony. Big shout out to
put him
man,
on.
and ATL, man. Hey, this guy is
They
awesome.
love it.
Look, 4 years I've been communicating with this man, and trying to get my finances and everything in order so I can be able to be able to find a studio, just to even look for a studio.
Right.
He's still by my side.
Yeah, studios
he
ain't cheap.
supported me, man. Yeah, exactly.
Then after that, you got to get it mixed, pay for that, then mastered as well too.
And all that
yeah,
stuff.
but it's all worth it.
Still going through the phase, but I think so. It is too, man.
Especially Will Studio.
Man, bro.
Quality touch, baby.
Hey, man. He give me that resonance and stuff, man. And that's the cool thing. He gives me that drive to do so. But Jay Anthony Beats, man. This is my fan from ATL.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about Georgia was, my last permanent duty station when I was active was in Georgia.
Okay.
So I'm familiar with the peach down there. Savannah. Hey, y'all know MLK Drive. Hey, y'all know what I'm talking about when I say Frozen Paradise. Everybody down south.
Man, everybody got MLK Drive.
Man, I tell you, man, those were the fun times, man. But this man, he sat for 4 years. I've been letting him know, but I spent a lot of my time concentrating on my career.
Right.
But he was like, all right, fam, I got you, man. He has the patience of a saint, because he could have just blew me off a long time ago, but instead he took the time, because I've been following him for like I said, 4 years, and telling him, I'm like, look, man, I'm trying. You know, I'm looking into this, I'm looking into that. At the same time, trying to live my life, make sure that the bills got paid. You know,
I got to.
and when I finally got a chance to do so and stuff, man, I was so proud. I wanted him to hear it firsthand, because to thank him for being able to have the type of ear that he has to make my music sound like it makes sense of what I spit with what he has, and it's almost like a mesh, a mesh that was meant to be, but at the same time had to be recognized through time and wisdom, and I really appreciate that. Hey, shout out to you, Jay Anthony. Jay Anthony Beats, man. You cannot go wrong with this man. He knows what he's doing when it comes to versatility. Another shout out to David Metropolis. Now,
You mentioned the name earlier.
Yeah, David Metropolis. I just recently met. I ran into him. I found him online, and I could tell he's been doing it for a long time too. He's been mixing beats for it, because he has it of all criteria, down south, up north, you know, hip hop, jazz, and it's the same thing with Jay Anthony. Even with the point and stuff where, you know, it got the acoustic guitar. There's another song that I'm working on that I'm talking with him now, where literally I have to sing for him. And the same thing with David Metropolis. David Metropolis got beats where I'm singing, I'm spitting. As a matter of fact, he got beats where it's so thunder, where, you know, I gotta find other artists out there. Where you at, Raymond Watkins? If you watching and stuff like that, bro, I told you I'm coming, bro.
Oh, damn,
But
called him out.
anyway.
Got him. Got one. Got the body,
Got
baby.
him, yo, hey, look, man. Look, I've been watching this man spit since we were kids, man, and this man could freestyle about anything and stuff, where it's almost like, dang, bro, it took me years of writing to memorize my songs and stuff, and he just get into it and stuff about any criteria. But he's who I really learned from. But yeah, David Metropolis, man, I think he operates out of Arizona at that.
Yeah, you mentioned Arizona earlier.
Yeah, so I'm like, wow, I've never been to Arizona, but I do have
It's nice. I recommend it.
Okay, it's like flatlands and open, you know.
Yeah, desert, hot. But you know what? This time of year, yeah, it feels great.
Shit, man, being diabetic and stuff like that, man. You know, it's got to be a medium point.
No.
Yo. Hey, look, if the weather is 70-something degrees throughout the whole year and stuff, that's more of like, you know, my criteria and stuff, man. But yeah, I hear it's pretty cool out there. Especially from just off of what you're saying, but to have a man from that location to be able to have a style that meshes with, you know, styles from the West Coast, the East Coast, it's uncanny. That's how I know that his way of thinking is very intricate, because of the fact that he knows how to be versatile in that type of field when it comes to sound. You got to have a good ear in order for you to be able to make quality
Absolutely.
beats. Man.
You know what? Speaking of a good ear, you know what I think? Have you ever rapped with a live band?
You know what?
I think it's something you should do.
That's a good idea. You know what? Deja Vu Productions, Grantsville Bearman Jones. This man is the man when it comes. I call him the guru of WPGC.
Okay.
Because he was a fan. Him and James Brown, both. When I first met them, they pulled me in like family. You know, like, this is what we do. And Bear was like, hey man, I'm into the singing. You know, I sing. And the way his studio set up is for a live band. You know, he's even got videos out and links of music that he sings. As a matter of fact, not too long ago, what's his name? Mr. Mendez. I'm trying to remember his name. Oh man,
I think Mendez
Shawn
is good.
Mendez.
There we go.
Shawn, he actually did an online song with Shawn Mendez, and man, I was like, I heard this man's music on the radio and stuff, and Bash sit there just going at it and stuff, like, you know, just doing his thing, just natural with it and stuff, man. And his passion is what drove me into being like, hey man, I want to be versatile like that. So that's a good idea. If anything and stuff, I already have pieces that I want to work with him on.
Right.
And as a matter of fact, he's the one that's helping me be able to set up my first video. You know,
when's that going down?
Hey man, that's still yet to be notified. But hey, don't worry, everybody. I'm gonna let y'all know. I promise y'all. You know, I try to keep up to date. At the same time.
Yeah, let me know that. Absolutely.
Yeah, man, I
Yeah,
got
for
you,
sure.
man, and I'm looking forward to it because the name of the song is called it's called "Simply Beautiful," or just beautiful altogether. And the song makes sense because it's about how a man should love a woman even through the ups and the downs, how he loves her and how he has her by her side. Now, despite you know where you walking and everything like that, you show your respect to the woman that you love because we got to understand one thing about today's society is more about the ladies now. This is their time. It's far too long that they didn't get the respect that they far so deserve.
Uh huh.
So I wrote a song specifically for them, just to let them know that I appreciate it, and plus to remind them that mankind can't exist without them. They are a very vital part too.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I need them to know that they are treasured and appreciated, even the ones that hurt me.
You still learn something.
Yeah, exactly. You still learn, you still live, but that still shouldn't prevent you from loving. And that's what I'm about when it comes to thinking about the ladies and what I'm doing with my music when it comes to them.
What is give me some acts that actually influence you, music wise. What do you listen to right now? What you got on your phone there?
Let's see. You know what? Big shout out to Seven. Seven is a versatile man, but his heart belongs to God. And that's the coolest thing that I can recognize, where I've never seen a gospel artist resonate like he has. But at the same time, I've never heard a gospel artist be as versatile as he has. And let alone coming from the West Coast, and I'm used to, hip hop from the East. But at the same time, it's his message and his format, because he sings also. So his versatility is very admired. My hats go off to him, and really, I've been listening to most of his music. I haven't been on listening to the radio in about maybe 9, 10 years. Because of the fact that I'm like, I write my own music, and then let alone the stuff. I was so much of a workaholic, I ain't even had time to listen to the radio like that. So it's like, and I know it's weird, but at the same time,
I respect hard work, man. I love it.
Yeah, that's what it is, man. That's where it came from. But I've been getting down on Seven, man. Hey, Seven, if you listening, bro, hey, I will put anything on wax, whether it's got to be a pro bono or whatever, bro, because I see where you going with this, man. I really appreciate you doing what you doing your thing the way that you are, and in a representation.
Yeah, and Seven, if you're listening, make sure you share the podcast as well too.
Oh yeah. Sure,
Put Seven to work.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Have
Come
a
on
seat.
down to the east. Come on down to the east side, bro. All right, don't worry, we'll have a party. I got you, bro. Hey, we gonna do some things and stuff like that, man. If anything, it's all love, man, because that's what he's trying to represent in his music. But at the same time, he gives it to a point where it will come off like gutter and stuff like that, where even if people don't even believe in God and stuff like that, they'll be like, that joint sounds tight. So, and that's the whole point.
If it sound good.
Yeah, because it what you say has meaning, but the vibe that you point out and stuff like that draws the crowd from those who are unfamiliar.
The energy you give off.
Yeah, man. So
Absolutely.
I'm proud of him doing his thing. So that's who I've been listening to and stuff a lot lately too, because like I said, I'm going through some things with heartbreak as of recent, and
Sorry to hear that, man.
hey, man, these things happen and stuff, man.
Yeah.
But at the same time, for future references, if anybody that's around in my circle, you got to know who you are in order to be around me. There ain't no guessing games. There ain't no running from your demons or none of that type of stuff, because I learned how to confront my demons. And the one thing about it is stuff, in order for people to be able to do the same thing or lift each other up, they have to know how to do the same thing themselves, or else they really can't comprehend what love really is.
I believe in that, what you said right there about confronting your demons, man. You got to stand in front of that shit, or it will follow you forever.
Yeah,
you got to conquer it. Wherever it is
will.
your demon is.
It will, man, because it'll take away your livelihood. It'll literally take away your love. It'll take away things, high expectations, goals. It'll destroy all of that kind of stuff. And, it happens. I think it's all for a reason. And the thing is that no matter how much it hurts, it's not my first rodeo feeling a level of hurt and pain because I've been going through it all my life.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it is what it is, and I just pray that she finds herself before the world swallows her whole. And that's all I can say.
We'll leave it at that right there. Doing any shows, man?
You know what? I'm waiting for a Bear to
I
get
need to
back
see you on
from
stage.
Nevada.
Go ahead, doing your thing.
Man,
Live band behind you. Yeah,
That sounds great, man. As a matter of fact,
absolutely.
I will literally work towards that project just because you asked me to, Ricky, man. And
I
it
appreciate
sounds
it.
like
Absolutely.
a great
Hell
idea.
yeah.
And Bear Man Jones, if you listening and stuff like that, man. Hey, people already asking for me to do stuff live, man. Hey, I'm right there with you, Bear. Yeah, that's my music guru and stuff, man. He's the one that pushed me for 10 years after having to walk away and concentrate on my career for me to still stay focused on my music. And he believed in me. And so I owe it to him to make sure that I come out with and resonate the way that he wants me to.
What were you doing those 10 years? Why'd you step away from music?
My career. I put the wrong kind of love, and I put trying to prove myself over my craft. For a long time, I've been trying to figure out my purpose and what I was supposed to do, and why these things happen the way that they are. And for some odd reason, I wasn't getting the answer of the expectations to the point where I just stopped asking, and then I just stopped paying attention to the time, and the time just drifted because I didn't even know that Social Security, the ones who told me and stuff, that I put in 23 years of work, and I didn't know. I just knew that's what it does, because you have to do. If you don't work, you don't eat. And that's part of the situation why I'm even resonating even more now, especially with what's going on in politics, because people are working, but they still can't feed their families. They still can't eat.
Yeah.
But I understand the ethics of working, getting the bills paid, taking care of what the priorities are at the time. And I love my music as a priority, but at the same time, the timing that I needed, my music wasn't resonating to the point and stuff of being able to pay my bills. I didn't get it to that point because of the fact that I still needed a lot to learn, and I had to grow within understanding what responsibility and obligation really meant. So, all that, it happened for a reason. I can't be mad at it, where it's like, I should, woulda, coulda, shoulda, woulda, No, it happened at the time of accordance. And that's really the most important of it with that time, that long gap. Because like I said, I've been writing since I was 11 years old, but trying to prove myself and trying to find my purpose was just as important. And in order for me to be able to find my purpose, I had to live life. And life to be lived is through time and patience and understanding and an open mind and being willing to be able to still push through the hard times and just as much as the good.
Do you think you found your purpose?
I think so. I'm in a position where I ain't guaranteed tomorrow, but at the same time, I'm going right back. It's like, you ever heard the saying where you're born with diapers, you're born in diapers, and then you end up retiring in diapers?
Yeah.
Yep. I started off with a pen and a pad,
Hey.
and went through life and ended with a pen and a pad, and with studio, with actual material from that same emphasis from the beginning. And that's how I look at it, man. My purpose is to try to help people the best way that I can, despite my imperfections, but at the same time, make sure that I can relate to all criteria of people, man. That's the whole point, is to let you know that I understand. I'm on both sides of the aisle with this. I'm that guy. I'm the one that's in the gray area and stuff that, most people don't see. It's only black and white. No, I create a gray area in all circumstances. And that's what I learned to do. But that's what it took for me, going through the pain, the tears, the heartache, the heartbreak, in order for me to be able to give myself the push to really understand what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And it's not just random. I do this because I love doing this.
When is the album coming out?
as soon as I can get some sponsors and stuff that's going to have me feature with them. Right now, I do single at a time, you know, because I'm doing everything out of my own. You know, I'm doing this completely independent. I'm letting people know that you know, trying to be an example of not being so overwhelmed with looking at the overall big picture on what it takes for you to be a good artist is by, you know, it takes money to make money type of ordeal, and which that's very true.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you know, you gotta, man. And I can go on and on with about this stuff. Like I'm trying to find it short. I try to find a shorter version, but
you got time, baby. Talk on it.
All right, so but when it comes to that kind of stuff, man, you got to really look at the aspect of the craft outside of a purpose of selfishness. My goal of my music is selflessness. You know, to let people know that, hey, man, I feel what you're going through. I remember I went through something like that, or I remember I seen somebody that go through something like that. Do you feel, you know, just like, no, I feel you. But at the same time, you express yourself. You do whatever you can to let the world know that you are articulate in your own way, in all different types. And that's all I'm doing. I'm just doing the same thing that someone that try to be happy-go-lucky and determined supposed to do. That's me. That's Titanlaw.
Man, shout out to Titanlaw. Absolutely. You got a name for the album?
Yeah, I should have. You know what? Because of trying times, let's see. What will be a good...
Or just on the spot right now? About to drop one?
War versus the corrupt.
Oh. Why that?
Because of what's at hand right now. What's going on. I stay in the current events. Shout out to Rachel Maddow, by the way. Keep doing your thing on MSNBC, shawty. Give us the truth like you always have. Anderson Cooper, thank you, CNN. Thank you, Don Lemon, for being who you are. Y'all, this ain't fake. I found out a lot of stuff that was going on about Uncle Sam before Uncle Sam told me from y'all. Just for future references. But, yeah, so you know, and I just want people to understand that, you know, there's opportunity for you based off of your determination. But it takes going through some things in order for you to understand and be grateful for where you are.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm blessed that I made it this far. It took me looking at death. I think, let's see, about maybe 28 times since I found out that I was diabetic, where I wasn't able to say goodbye to anybody. So I figured that if I can't have if I don't have a next generation or a legacy for myself, I want to be able to at least have my music to let people know, to be remembered, to leave my mark.
Yeah.
Because I want a family someday. You know, I was hoping to do so. But if so, at least I'll be able to have an alternative.
Right. I think it's a beautiful thing, dude. That even I put it like this: Patrice O'Neal. Are you familiar with the comedian Patrice O'Neal?
Black dude. Familiar, but no.
Big black dude.
Please elaborate.
Yeah. But so he passed away. He had I forgot what he died of. But either way, he passed away. And I think it's, I'll say 40s, something like that. But he said, one of the things he said, and they asked him about it, you know, about him going through everything, knowing he was going to die. He said that it's okay because, you know, everything he recorded, all the shows, stand-ups, this TV show he had. He said, when I speak, I live. So with you, with the music, me, the podcast, I mean, we could be forever. But you know what? This is going to last forever. Your music is going to last forever. So every time you speak, you still are living through somebody. So, yeah, keep recording, dude. I don't give a fuck. Like, that's what me and Will was talking about the whole age thing. You know, who gives a damn, dude?
Yeah.
Obviously you got the talent.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
man.
we are heard that tonight. Plus I was listening to some of your other shit the other day as well too. But yeah, keep grinding, dude. Don't ever stop. And don't let anybody ever tell you that otherwise.
I don't intend to, man, because I say all that good training would be for nothing if I did. All of that, all those years of standing up for myself and learning what it took to stand up for myself and being trained to be able to get my point across, to be heard. It's all for good reason. That's what I want to keep pushing for, man. Ricky, you're awesome, man. Thank you for even giving me this opportunity. This is what it takes for me to have the drive to continue on. Because I got a plethora of music coming, y'all.
How many songs can we expect on this project?
Let's see here. So far,
about 42.
No, probably I could say probably about 80.
80 songs on one project?
Hey, look,
shit! Goddamn, this is
this has been a project of this has been a project of mine all of my life, but this time I got to the point where I could apply it now, and like I said, I haven't even dug into the repertoire of actually what's fresh on the brain yet. Right now I'm digging into the old treasure chest. Everything that y'all heard, that y'all got, is from the treasure chest that has been sitting, collecting dust. All I did was just wipe the dust off, shine it up, put it on wax.
Yeah.
And if people are feeling it, I appreciate it, y'all, because the new stuff is intense. And that's what it is. I just hope that, I can get the people to listen and get them to show love, and just as much as I will come off there where, from what I retired from and stuff, even these other artists and stuff, I was like, hey, look, we could collab, because for one thing, I'm a 2-on-1 ordeal. Hey, I can help spit fire with you, and I can look out for your best interest to make sure that you are safe. So, I'm like, hey, I could do both. I could do, or either one. It doesn't matter. That's where I'm coming from. Exactly, and that's what I'm capable of. All that training isn't going to go in vain. At the same time, it was a part of what it took to create Titanlaw.
Yeah. Have you worked with any artists from Will Studio?
No. He's actually looking into something. I'm writing a song. I just completed the rough called "Riding the Waves," and it's my first song with melody that I actually wrote. In which I actually sang, and that's the one I was telling you that I sang to my mom, and she told me that I sound like my father.
Yeah,
and so he has we're working on a collaboration, because he has a lot of artists under his belt that's going through the same thing, and that's about 4 or 5 steps ahead of where I am, and I'm like this, man. I'm like, if we treat this like a family ordeal of showing love and being honest and being straight up with each other and stuff, man, I'm there for whatever you need me for, man, because we're all trying to reach the same thing, and that's success.
Yeah,
what we're doing.
Especially in this area too. Like, it's been, like we talked last podcast, it's been just a plethora, like an uprising of talent that's popping out here.
Hey, man, that's because this area is a big melting pot from all criteria. DC alone is a melting pot from people from all over the world, let alone and stuff like that. The tenant in the White House and stuff is trying to say otherwise. Yeah, that's what we call them, the tenant. the tenant in our house. But, that's the thing. It's like we have versatility here. And all shout outs and love to Go and Chuck.
Hey, absolutely.
I didn't get into Go until I moved up here, and that was in 2004, and no, 2005. Sorry about that. And it's an authentic sound, but at the same time, they use the same drums as the tribesmen that used to from the where we originally came from. You got the congas, all this stuff came from originally Africa.
Yeah.
So this is.
Are you gonna do a go-go joint?
Man, I'll do anything, man. I'm telling you, man. Versatility, man.
Some country music.
I could do country music and all this. I done heard it all. Tim McGraw. I like Tim McGraw sometimes and stuff. He'll make some stuff to make you think sometimes and stuff like that. But at the same time, man, that's the whole point of being in this area. This is how you learn about different criteria and versatility and universal understanding. This is the perfect area to do so. It's just a shame that people that we rely on to look out for our best interests is too old-minded
Mhm.
to understand the changes in the evolution of mankind. Period.
Right. Dang, that's a powerful statement, man. Um, I got something else for you too here as well too. You spoke about earlier. You said that you don't give a damn if it's not. You don't care about the money at all. You ain't in this for that.
Yeah,
You're just in it just to reach out for lives.
yeah, man.
Now that's a beautiful thing right there. Absolutely. Now, are you willing to turn the money down, or is the money just a side effect?
Oh no, I'm not going to turn the money down. It's
Okay,
always
man.
good to have. It's always good to have those resources because look, it takes money to make money. You
Mhm.
know, that's an old Wall Street saying. So you know,
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
So you know, I know that money is an important tool, but the thing is that when you're in love with it, is when it guides you down the wrong path. Your love's supposed to come from your heart.
Right.
And when I say your heart, not the organ and stuff that pumps the blood, it's the way you think when it comes to money. You know, I don't know what it's like to have a large plethora amount of money. So, you know, my ordeal is that if I did, I'll still be with the folks, you know, that I know, you know, that's right there by my side, and that's how I will always see it. I'll probably still go out like how I used to when I got off duty. You know, I fix random cups of coffee, and the homeless folk that I normally see on a regular basis, when
Yeah.
it's too cold outside, right when I'm getting off work, I'm handing them a cup of coffee just to give them a chance, you know, because I understand that criteria. I understand when it comes to trying to figure out what you're gonna eat, you know, how you're gonna eat, let alone where you're gonna live. Money is an important tool, but it's just a tool. It's not what that's supposed to be. It's not. I can't love it like that, because if you love it the same way that as fast as you can get it, you can cause yourself to lose it the same if you're not careful with the way you think about handling it.
Right.
So I'm not gonna brag about something that I ain't never had a lot of before.
So we ain't expecting a whole bunch of money bars in your trip.
None of that stuff, man. It's just all. Look, I'm taking Gen 10 and mixing it with, infuse it with millennials to get the millennials to understand where it's like, you know, certain points of views of how things are. We have to take a look back on how we scale things today, because of the fact of, for one thing, moral turpitude makes all the more difference with how we see things today, our perception today, to even how we move forward in the future.
What's next for Titanlaw? I mean, like when you drive home, what you about to eat tonight? I mean,
Oh man, just
what's
see
the,
it, man.
what's the next move, baby?
Let's see. I love to cook, man. So you know,
Here we
I'm
go.
looking at probably. Now, I'm looking at some fried fish, right? But I'm thinking, but I only fry my stuff like in olive oil, or I got my dry fryer.
Hey,
So I was looking at
shout out to
something
the dry
like that.
fryer.
Hey man,
That dry fry,
hey,
man.
man, it's safe, man. I'm telling
The
you,
air
man.
fryer. Woo.
No, who say you can't eat good and stuff like that, even though you pump yourself full of insulin? Hey, that's a lie. You can find a way to eat good nowadays if you really put your heart into it, your mind into it. So yeah, man. Yeah, probably fish. You know, that's usually how I try to keep my diet stirring, with a lot of proteins, chicken, beef. Hey man, I still got deer slabs and stuff like that hiding in there.
You hunt?
I used to, but you know, in my career and stuff like that, it was humans. But
That's right, bounty hunter.
yeah, fugitive recovery.
Tell me a bounty hunter story. We get back to the other thing. I
Oh,
want to hear
man,
this. Yeah, give me some bounty hunter stories. Give me
I
what
won't
you
be
can.
able to, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just gonna have to keep it at that and stuff. All I can say is everybody and stuff that was apprehended. I hope that the words that I spoke to you helps you see things in a different perspective, to know that it's not the end of the world when, you know, you're in a jam, because I've been in plenty of jams too, and I found a way out just by being humble and taking the time to actually see what was at hand. You could turn it around. You know, and that's what I always encourage most people. You know, I'm like, I'm not the bad guy. I'm just trying to help you face what your choices were, and that's all I am. And that's how I see it. You know, it wasn't anything that you get kicks out of or anything like that, because it's a dangerous work.
Right.
You know, your heart dancing on your tongue all the time. I'm not afraid to admit that. Yeah, I was afraid and stuff, but we did what was necessary. But that's the same thing as even the honor code of being a soldier. You know, that selflessness, but somebody has to do it, even though everybody can't. And it takes a certain type of courage and bravery to be able to step outside of that line, from what you're used to. But at the same time, the people will understand because they knew that that's where you came from too.
What's next for you in the music?
Oh man,
I know you got this 80-track album dropping here soon,
man.
But any idea we get a date on that?
Hey, look, it's 80 tracks, but it's gonna be broken in sections.
It's gonna be like 10.
But yeah, man. So I'm gonna do this all the way until I just can't anymore. While I have the opportunity, because I've never thought that I would be able to get this far in my music. I was used to listening, keeping up with the Joneses. You got to get a job, you got to work. You got to look at these other priorities. But at least now that I put in my time and I survived from looking at death as many times, now they're telling me that I have more time to myself. So to keep myself relevant, I keep training. And I'm writing and I'm putting towards my music, so that way I won't be I won't feel stagnant, being disabled and retired. So I'm disabled and retired from the system, but not from my art, not from my craft.
Yeah, man, never give up. I don't want to ever see that happen at all.
Thank you, man.
Absolutely. What I do want to see is you drop a couple. Let's get the mouse. All I do is see you drop a couple tracks here soon, man. I need something I can eat off of.
Oh, man.
Or something that people can eat off of.
Oh, bro.
Where can we find you at?
Well, I tell you what.
And I'll drop the links below, too, when this podcast's over.
Hey, just go online and type up Titanlaw Music, and I got my webpage set up. As a matter of fact, I'm still actually building on that, so I'm from scratching it, y'all. That's why it's important that I'm glad that you guys are listening, and really, in order for me to be able to continue on this path and this journey, if I make hot enough music, I need you guys' ears. I keep my mask on. All I need is your ears open. My mask will come off once I've reached my goal, so that way I can keep doing this for y'all.
What is the goal?
The goal is getting everybody to understanding. That's
Is there a target number, or just when you feel like you've reached a critical mass?
Just a critical mass. I don't have a goal. I'm just thankful that people feel what I'm doing. I'm just thankful for that alone, because a lot of people, there's a lot of talent out here that really don't have any idea on how to get started.
Right.
But they're probably twice as good or better than I am. And I just want to be one of those advocates to verify where it's like sometimes when you got to give yourself that extra push more than the average than you normally would do. But in order for you to give yourself the push that you need to ask yourself the right questions.
Gotta be real with yourself first. Gotta talk with the person in the mirror.
That's all it is, man.
Because being real with you can be real with nobody else.
Exactly, because I'm like, I used to have a saying, if you willing to lie to yourself, of course you will lie to me. I used to tell that to somebody that was very important to me. I just hope that it sticks.
Before we wrap up, any last words you want to say to the people? Social media, where they can find you. I got you tagged in here too as well, Titanlaw.
Hey guys, look me up, Titanlaw. That's one word, Titanlaw. So just in case, everybody looking like, man, you own a law firm? I'm like, I wish. Like, shit. I was like, well, I studied the law, but at the same time, if anything, I try to help people that don't understand what they're going through. If they're like in a jam or something, I'm like a light consultant where I'm like, look, this is what you may be looking at. This
a light consultant.
Yeah,
Hey, everybody talk
like,
5 to 10. Everybody in the hood know turn to a lawyer.
Yeah,
As Dave Chappelle said.
But everybody would turn to a lawyer. But the one thing about it and stuff is the way inflation going, can everybody afford one?
Ooh.
And that's the thing.
You do a little pro bono?
Hey man,
Is Titanlaw really Titanlaw, Esquire, attorney at law?
Well, look, under their copyright, probably. But other than that, man, I, I, I like the name. It resonates. Fam, I'm your music mercenary.
Ooh.
I feel you. I understand what you're going through. I've been through the shit, and I found a way out to be put back into shit that allowed me to put music out for you. And I want to advocate for all of those who understand, all of my veterans out there, all of my active that's going through this furlough that feels, nah, man, you got somebody that's got your back.
I love
you,
it.
y'all.
Absolutely. 100%. Someone to ask you real quick. I kind of forgot what it was.
Oh,
I
no
hope I
worries,
forgot my
man.
whole train of thought.
Hey, no
Now, yeah, what I would ask you said, I got your Titanlaw up there. You got Instagram, Twitter, anything like that?
Yeah, I got my Instagram. Hey, check me out on Twitter. I'm at Titanlaw 38 on Twitter. Look, hey, T.I., if you out there, bro, hey, I'll come back to ATL, man. I will come down to ATL. I got my fam that's working on that does my beats is down there and stuff, man. Hey, bro, I really respect where you coming from and what you're doing, man. Just keep it going, man. I'll see you soon. I'll see all of y'all soon on a universal basis, whether you want me to watch your back or whether you want me to put fire on wax with you. It doesn't matter. Just thank you for showing love. And that's all I ask is just I need your ears in order for me to be able to reach my goal. Because, like I said, if I'm not promised tomorrow, at least I'm hoping that to promise myself a chance.
Right. Also, you're available for features too, as well.
All day.
All types
Hey,
of music.
Look, I'm freed up and flexible to do whatever is necessary. If I gotta drive to you, if I gotta fly to you, you know.
Oh, you're flying too?
Hey, man, it doesn't matter. You know, music. If people feel what I have, I will do what is necessary to make sure that I provide the people what they want.
I like to hear that. Absolutely. Hey, I'm excited for your future, man.
Hey, thanks, man.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it, man.
You've been through a lot of shit, but dude, I got you. Yeah. If you need a sponsor for your 80-track album, BlacksNYac Podcast got you too as well.
Hey, man, I appreciate that, man. All sponsors are welcome. All lovers and haters of this are all welcome because we're all going through it right now. I just want to be the first to be able to speak out to let you know that, look, man, I feel you. Somebody's got to speak up for you, especially during these trying times, because it seems like the state, fed, and civilian population are all going through the same rut from greed. We can't be like that, y'all. In order for us to be able to be what we are and to be successful in what we are, we have to continue to be diverse like we always have been. That's the only way. That is the only way. All you artists out there, please wake the people up. Let them know. Let them know that you care about what's going on. It ain't about, you know, reputation or anything, because if it weren't for those different criteria of people, you wouldn't have the success that you have. Just food for thought, y'all.
Describe your music to me in one word.
Dark.
Titanlaw. Number love for you, baby.
Thanks, brother.
We'll do this
Love
again.
you too.
As soon as you drop that album, we're going to do this again.
Hey, bro, I'm waiting for it and stuff like that. As a matter of fact, and so I'm going to be flipping cartwheels and stuff like that at the door and stuff like that, then hand it to you.
I love it, dude.
Yeah, I love you guys, fam.
Absolutely. In that live, baby.
So how do you think I did?
Man, you was incredible. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, you was great, dude.